What's going on, everybody? My name is Debray. Welcome to Pre-Road Exotics. Today we're going to be talking about a kind of controversial topic. All right, you guys want to stay tuned for this. Today we're going to be discussing tubs versus tanks. Let's get into it. Okay, so first, spoiler alert, don't believe everything that you read or hear on the internet, especially YouTube and especially some random guy in front of a camera or some random guy on Facebook. That's me. No, I'm playing. But seriously though, either or is perfectly fine. It doesn't really matter which one you use. It just, whatever works better for your specific, application, for your specific animal, for your specific location, in a country. Some places are colder than others. Some places are warmer than others. All that has an effect on which would be better for you. You know what I mean? So you kind of gotta really look at that with an open book. You can't take anything for solid. Nothing's set in stone, basically, is what I'm trying to say when it comes to tubs versus tanks. One's not better than the other. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. One's not better than the other. If you go all the way back, tanks were used first when this reptile, can't even say hobby. I don't even want to say hobby because even that just looks down upon now, So this reptile community back in the day started off with glass tanks. That's all you saw when you went to vendors and went to expos. It was nothing but tanks on top of tanks and tanks over here, tanks on the ground. And that's just what there was. They weren't front opening. They're just come from the top, grab your animal and go, you know what I mean? And that was acceptable. Times changed and we started using bins and plastic tubs, especially breeders. They figured out that tubs are cheaper, they're easier to clean, easier to keep track of all their babies, and just made for a better overall positive result rather than having 50 tanks sitting around everywhere. So it made sense for them to go to tanks, and a lot of the customers went the same way too, because when you ask your breeder, hey, my snake's not eating, or how do you have your snake set up, they'll tell you, like, I have mine in this kind of 28 quart rack. Give them water, give them something, you know what I mean? So a nice substrate, check on them, feed them, and that's how they do it. So eventually everyone kind of evolved over to that. Now lately, it seems like if you own a tub, heaven forbid, if you own a rack, you're just like a spawn of Hitler or something towards animals, and you're just degrading your snake's life, and it's just shame on you. Like, what's wrong with you? You shouldn't keep animals. And I agree. If you keep a 12-foot boa in a tub like this and you're not giving it what it needs, okay, I completely agree. But that's just being dramatic, and I feel like a lot of people they're overreacting to this kind of thing. It's like, you guys be serious. The number one question I see in all my Hogs Nose groups on Facebook and all the comments I get, the number one question is, my snake won't eat, my hognose won't eat, what's going on? I have a nice 5-gallon tank, it's all cluttered up and everything like that. And it's pretty simple, your snake's scared. The sad fact is 90% of the snakes born in the wild probably aren't gonna make it their first year. And that's not because they're out. Have you ever seen a baby snake just cruising around? I mean, you know, it's probably, if you go herping, yeah, you can find them, but baby snakes, they're not just out and about chilling. No snake is, for that matter. You know what I mean? They want to hide, they want to stay warm, they want to stay in a nice area where they feel safe and comfortable and make it through the first winter. That's just common sense. So when you set a snake up in a tank system, whether it be a 5-gallon tank or anything like that, you have to take all this stuff off. First of all, well, I mean, obviously you're not gonna have, you probably have like a sliding clip or anything like that. But my point is, you're gonna have to take off the lights if you have lights. You're gonna have to actually go inside, mess everything up. Even if you have a front opening enclosure, you're gonna have to go in there and dig around for that snake. Because if you have a tank like that, you want it cluttered up. Ideally, you want a little bit even more cluttered up than what I have. But my snake, he's a subadult male. He's pretty much almost there. So I mean, he's real confident. He's always out and about. He's not chilling. He's got burrows all through here. I'm not worried about him. He doesn't need clutter because he's more on the adult side of a snake. He's not a little baby. If I had a little baby, I wouldn't have all this stuff in here. He'd never eat, just in my opinion. Or if he did, it'd be a lot of work, more work than I don't think I want to put in all that unnecessary work. If that's what it was, that's all I had, and that's what I had to do, I'd do it. But since there are better options, racks and tubs, I think it's just easier to go that route until they get established, they get bigger, and they get more confident. Then if you want to move them over, go ahead. One of the pros of this is that these tanks are beautiful. They're nice to look at. You can sit back, enjoy them in your room, enjoy them in your bedroom, wherever you have your tanks at. In your reptile room, you can come in. They're beautiful. I wouldn't change it for the world for the right application. But for babies, especially baby hognose snakes, it just stresses them out more than I think it really needs to. I think if you started off with tubs, you see a lot less people complaining about how their baby hognose want to eat. And that's just my personal opinion. Of course, you could take that how you want it, do whatever works best for you. There's an exception to every rule. There's never one way to do something. If that works for you, you got him in a 45-gallon tank and he eats every day or every week on command, hey, that's what's up, man. But there's a lot more people who don't have that success, you know? So I'm here to help those people, not the ones that are doing and trying to shame other people for the way that they're doing. And you know, with all that being said, like I do plan on upgrading my snakes. You know, all three of my girls once they get bigger, and you know, because they're eating great right now. As soon as I open up the tank or the tub, excuse me, as soon as I open up the tub, they come straight out. They're confident. They're ready to eat. They're not worried about anything like that because they're secure. But once they get bigger, though, they will be going into bigger enclosures. You know, my black milk, he's doing great in here. I'm making sure he's okay. I'm making sure he's eating good. He's pooping good. I'm making sure if there's any issues, I'm on it. You know what I mean? If I just put him in a big tank and he just disappears as baby snakes do, the next time I see him, it might be too late to catch something. You know, I'm not going to be so much visually aware of him. You know what I mean? So I do plan on getting them bigger ones, but I'm just saying, don't let people scare you out of using tubs or make you feel like you're a bad person because you use a rack system or you prefer tubs. It's not the case. If people have a lot more money than other people too, because tanks are expensive too. So it's not about them, you know, just being too cheap to give their animal a good life. It's just like, well, why? When I can accomplish the same thing. You're not going to call somebody cheap because they buy a Honda as opposed to like, you know, a Mercedes, are you? Maybe that's what he can afford. As long as he's doing it correctly, that's all that really matters. Like I said, don't put a big snake in a small tub. Don't be a douchebag. You know, don't be a horrible person. Don't make me look bad for saying tubs are good. Use common sense, man. Put everything. If you use a thermostat, or if you use a heater, put it on a thermostat. Things like that. Like just have common sense, man. Enjoy the hobby. Enjoy the community, I should say, and just have fun with it. Don't let people bring you down and tell you that their way is either their way or the highways. That's just not the case, man. And with all that said, we'll go ahead and get to the feeding video because I mean, I don't know. I just had to get that off my chest though. All right, but yeah, guys, in closing, not to beat a dead horse, the point where pretty much was like, if you have some tubs, don't feel bad. Really, they usually work better for baby hog noses. And then once they get a little bit older, you can go ahead and graduate to a nice display tank. And then whatever works for you, though, definitely. But hope everybody had a good time. I'll see you guys next time, and be safe, all right?